Good afternoon and welcome to the fifth in a series of Alabama Works live programs dealing with Alabama's workforce response during the COVID-19 pandemic. Past programs are available on our website at alabamaworks.com. And now, Tim McCartney, Chairman of the Alabama Workforce Council.
Good afternoon. As Chairman of the Alabama Workforce Council, I'm proud of the public-private partnership that's been brought about by this STEM career awareness system that directly aligns with the mission and focus of the AWC. Comprised of business executives from around the state, the Alabama Workforce Council exists with a mission to help government and industry work together to develop a sustainable, best-in-class workforce in Alabama that's globally competitive. We fully understand the important role that education plays with the establishment of such a workforce, and we feel confident that the Learning Blade platform will help us bring us all closer to achieving the governor's Success Plus attainment goal. We're very grateful to the hard work and partnership of the governor's office and the Department of Commerce and K-12 system, together with the Boeing Corporation and their generous 2019 community grant that allows Alabama to provide access to the high quality college and career exploration through the Learning Blade platform. Importantly, this platform will allow Alabamians of all ages, regardless of age, the ability to explore numerous career clusters and varying career pathways. As we continue to expand apprenticeships and workforce training, working toward the governor's attainment goal, I'm confident that this program will significantly expand interest in high demand STEM and computer science careers. The AWC is here as a resource and remains committed to the people of Alabama, and will continue to focus our efforts on how we best can ensure that businesses, its employees, their employees, students, and the recently unemployed have resources that they need during the time of crisis that we're facing at this point in time. And now, without further ado, I want to turn the program over to Ms. Tammy Wilkinson from the Department of Commerce. She's going to talk about Learning Blade as a resource for the workforce. Tammy.
Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me to join in this. This is an honor. I am the Workforce Development Division Director for the Department of Commerce, and we purchased Learning Blade in 2019 as a workforce tool for our Workforce and Innovation Opportunity Act eligible youth, and to use through our out-of-school youth programs. We bought this so that we could encourage those youth who are high school dropouts, they're basic skill deficient, any of those that are in need of our services, so that we could boost their career exploration. We could help them and encourage an interest in these STEM programs as well as computer science programs. It will allow them better access to learn about these careers, and it will help them understand what's involved as far as education and training and what the job may actually be like. So it's a very interactive software tool. And after seeing it and, really learning about it, we expanded our utilization to our in-school youth programs as well. We offer it throughout the state to encourage pretty much any of our youth programs, which we have 30 plus, to use it to encourage the interest in these STEM programs, to learn about science and engineering, to learn about computer science. So this is a great tool for all of our youth to use. It's very interactive. It's easy to navigate. It's been very beneficial. So once we saw that this was a very easy product to learn, we offered it out to what we call our WIOA eligible adults and dislocated workers. We have encouraged our career centers to use it, to have it loaded on all of their machines so that anyone coming into the career centers would have access to it, could use it. It's actually encouraging not only the career exploration, but it encourages the reading skills. It benefits those who are, they need to practice their reading. So it's a very beneficial tool. We found it to be, quite well used. So.
All right, thank you, Tammy.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Ms. Tina Watts from the Boeing Corporation, and she's going to talk about the benefits of the public-private partnership. Tina.
Good afternoon. My name is Tina Watts. I'm with the Boeing Company, and I am pleased to get to join you guys today and share a little bit about what we do and why we are supporting initiatives like Learning Blade. Boeing is proud to be Alabama's largest aerospace company, and we are thrilled to see our government, education, business, and industry, and the community all working together to support STEM in our schools. STEM disciplines help create and innovate. Two of the core principles we use every day in making world-class products at Boeing. And our success depends on everyone coming together in the communities in which we live and work to inspire, educate, and empower the next generation. So to ensure future competitiveness, we must have these skilled workers who can fill the projected job growth in technical careers. This challenge is critical not only to Boeing and the state of Alabama, but also to our nation's economic health. And as a company, we focus on making investments in programs that provide and enhance STEM education, like Learning Blade. Learning Blade provides an interactive program that engages and exposes students to science, technology, engineering, and math, and computer science careers. And as you heard from those before, the program is free and has been made available to all Alabama schools with students in grades 5 through 9 through a public-private partnership involving Alabama Workforce Council, the Boeing Company, Thinking Media, Alabama Department of Commerce, State Department of Education, Alabama Community College System, and the Governor's Office. The utilization of blended funding is absolutely fundamental to help our state government respond to the need for high quality education that benefits all parties involved, and also allows Alabama to share the best practices and leverage our industry investments to enhance STEM education in the state. A key component of a successful state level STEM initiative is an adequate, reliable funding stream. And it's also critical to have business and industry involvement to ensure that STEM education programs provide the knowledge and skills students need for success in the STEM workforce. Public-private partnerships are one approach to ensure both of these things. Thinking Media, we believe, is uniquely positioned to harness the power of these stakeholders to deliver fast, dramatic improvement of education through the Learning Blade system. At Boeing, we believe that education opportunity and exposure to career development can change the trajectory of an individual's life and the life of those around them in profound ways. We're confident the state of Alabama will see the impact made by Learning Blade for years to come. And we look forward to partnering on other initiatives supporting education and workforce advancements in our state. And we are truly honored to be a part of this initiative. And I'm grateful to all of you guys for your partnership and support. Thanks.
Thank you, Tina. I appreciate that. We certainly appreciate the partnership with Boeing. Our next speaker is Ms. Jennifer Burt from the Alabama State Department of Education. She's going to talk about the importance of STEM in the K through 12 and career prep tool. Jennifer.
Okay. Good afternoon, and thank you for the invitation. I always love to talk about how Alabama career tech education fits into Governor Ivey's strategic plan for workforce development. I've just started learning about Learning Blade, and it's been a great eye-opening experience. As you all know, at the department, we have 5 areas. If you can go back to the previous slide, please. We have about 5 areas that we're really focusing on. And I want to talk about the implementation of a competency-based quality education or instruction. So we think that we'll be able to do that with Learning Blade by addressing our skills gaps with hands-on learning. We're always concerned about equity and access for our students who are in rural areas especially. I also believe that this platform will allow those students to receive hands-on quality instructional units that they may not have gotten before. Equity and access also are economically disadvantaged students. They typically don't have access to the hands-on learning, and also our non-trad. We have 2 other special populations that we've just begun focusing on as a result of the new Perkins Law, but the homeless population and our active duty military dependents. So we foresee that the Learning Blade platform will help us reach those populations of students. Career exploration. For several years now, career exploration starting in 9th grade has been a focus at the department. It's actually a requirement prior to graduation. And our business and industry partners have told us for several years that they just didn't believe that beginning in 9th grade was early enough for any type of career exploration. So we believe that with our new Perkins Law that we'll discuss in just a minute, that's going to open up some areas with Learning Blade to help us fill those gaps. We also focus on providing skills for post-secondary goals. And a lot of times our students leave high school as graduates with an industry recognized credential. And Learning Blade can help us fill those gaps with the hands-on learning there as well. And we want to build a pathway so that they can matriculate into their chosen career pathway, whatever that is. So we've started focusing on, since we have our new Perkins Law, with a seamless education to workforce continuum. And you can see on the screen with the Perkins Law, it shows us or tells us there that we are required now to provide career exploration and career development activities in an organized and systematic method. And for the first time, we are now allowed to spend our Perkins dollars, which are our federal dollars, down to 5th grade. So we're now covering the span of grades 5 through 12. So we're excited about that. The law also helps us to continue to develop articulated career pathways in all 16 of our clusters. 2 slides, please. One more. Thank you. So as a result of writing our Alabama combined state plan, we realized that we have really 2 challenges, and a lot of times, as you all know, time and resources. So just to talk about the outline of our continuum that we have implemented through the new combined state plan, the first one is career awareness, and that is going to begin in the elementary grades. And that's where the students begin learning about work. The next step in the continuum is the career exploration in middle school, which that's what we're talking about here today, where we're beginning in grade 5. And they're also learning a little bit more about work. The next step on the continuum is the career preparation in high school, and that's where we plan to help them learn through work. So that might be where they're doing observations. It might be where they're doing pre-apprenticeship work, and even volunteering when they do their projects and their CTSOs. So that's bringing that along those lines. And then the last step in the continuum is career training in high school and beyond. And that's where they're learning for work. So I believe that across the entire continuum here, starting with the awareness piece all the way through the career training that Learning Blade can help us with all steps in that continuum in the process. So Alabama Careers in STEM. STEM is oftentimes associated solely with just the engineering or the technology fields. And whereas that is a focus, we also want to recognize the fact that Alabama's labor market data identifies STEM occupations in over 240 industries. And we have 35,000 Alabamians employed. So that tells me that that's all the reason for us to start earlier with the career exploration and just giving them what they need at a much earlier age. We do have 16 career clusters that tie to STEM careers, and all of those in some shape, form, or fashion can be touched or addressed in the Learning Blade system. And another goal of Alabama CTE is to immerse all of our K-12 students in, here again, the continuum of career awareness, exploration, and preparation in those STEM careers. The next slide. So here is just a little visual. Our labor market data identifies industries in Alabama with STEM occupations. And you can see there, it goes all the way from architecture, engineering, space research and technology, to the paper mills, all the way through healthcare. And we believe on the last slide that we have an alignment with Learning Blade's mission, or if you will, some of the activities that are provided and how they align with our career clusters. And I'm going to leave that slide to Sheila. I believe she's going to expound on that later on in her presentation, but I did just want to show how that slide illustrates examples of the activities that Learning Blade can provide to our students in K-12 during their career exploration process.
Keith Phillips from Alabama Technology Network. And Keith, you have the floor.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for allowing the Alabama Community College System to be part of the presentation today. We look at this, so how is the Learning Blade a tool for the 24 Alabama Community College colleges? We look at this first and foremost as it will benefit us from the standpoint of student recruitment and retention. And in particular, when you look at a focus on STEM career exploration and STEM-based coursework from the 5th grade level through their senior year, these students are going to become highly sought community college recruits. You can go back one slide. Students who leave the K-12 system with a solid STEM experience and educational backgrounds, they require less remedial education. They're typically more prepared, or maybe they're well prepared to pursue their academic or career technical courses and move into careers or pursue higher degrees. Often the high school dual enrollment students at our colleges are STEM students, and they are entered into our career technical education programs, and they complete them. As they complete them, they earn industry recognized credentials and certifications along the way, much like Jennifer mentioned. They're on the fast track, if you will, to start their career or pursue more advanced degrees. Not to mention, they complete these CTE programs with little, if any, student debt. That makes them highly desirable students, and the little to no debt obviously makes mom and dad at home real happy. Next slide. Now this slide's a little busy, but it's an example of a high demand, high wage career pathway, and we'll talk a little bit about it as I walk through my presentation. But basically, STEM career exploration, it's incredibly important to improving the transition from education to the workforce pipeline. Having spent some time looking at Learning Blade and thinking about my own career exploration way back when, this is just an incredible resource to expose students to some of the amazing careers that they're often hidden behind the doors of advanced manufacturing or aerospace companies in the state. It may be design and engineering labs, R&D facilities, or sterile research or biomedical labs, or in some cases it may be, sharing and allowing those students access to see what the working from the comfort of a home with a degree or major in computer science or cybersecurity. Learning Blade opens these doors, and it offers students fun and interactive ways of exploring incredible career opportunities through learning missions. Again, something that Jennifer was just mentioning in her portion of the presentation. You know, whenever I was a junior high or high school student, career decisions were often based on the observations of our parents or close family or friends. They were based on someone we knew and how we observed them in their field of work. You know, what offers exposure to some really cool careers and can provide that career inspiration that might not be experienced without such exposure. Our future workforce needs these sparks of interest to meet the demand for STEM-based jobs and careers, not only future jobs, but really jobs we have today that go unfilled. Through much effort and collaboration among a wide scope of individuals from the governor's office and administration, from the Alabama Workforce Council, business and industry leaders, Alabama State Department of Education, the Alabama Community College System, and I'm sure I left someone off that list. There's been much effort put into building and planning and implementing a comprehensive education to career plan, the governor's plan. And through this effort, the career pathway that has been created, such as the one you see here, they focus on high wage, high demand jobs. And with this pathway mapped out and with the supporting data, Learning Blade becomes a tool not only for the community colleges, but a valuable asset for students and their families, their parents. Using it as a tool along with these career pathways, these become real conversations now for moms and dads and their students. The pathway identifies educational pathways from junior high to advanced degree attainment. They reflect valued credential attainment along the way. Additionally, the pathway offers suggested work-based learning opportunities at each step. It's an earn and learn pathway for the student if they choose to go that route. So one of the major benefits to the pathway, it shows on and off points for careers, meaning a student or an individual can see their potential job available to them relative to their education, their credentials, or their experience, and they can see comparative salaries and the number of annual openings for these jobs. Career discussions and these can now be made more based on data and not observations. And what Learning Blade does, it's a tool that can guide these conversations early and help give students and their parents and educators direction for helping navigate these career pathways successfully. You know, this is how our state workforce and our economy is going to continue to thrive and prosper in the future. So, you know, personally, I look at this Learning Blade tool with some regret that it wasn't available to me many years ago, but I'm proud that it's something that's being implemented at an early age in the K-12 system now, and we will see the benefits of it at the community college system and workforce in the state in the future.
All right, thank you, Keith. Thank you for that. That's a lot of great points there. Workforce Council is certainly encouraging the work-based learning programs and apprenticeships, and we really need these tools to help get the students guided down that career pathway. Our next speaker is the developer, our co-developer of Learning Blade, Ms. Sheila Boyington. She and her husband both developed Learning Blade. I believe she told me when we met a few minutes ago, they're both chemical engineers from the University of Florida. So welcome to joining us in Alabama, Sheila. Tell us about your product.
Thank you so much, Tim. And you had to mention the Florida Gator thing, but Alabama has taken care of us several times in the past few years. But really, it's just a pleasure to join you this afternoon to share a little bit more about what Learning Blade is about and how it can and is impacting students in Alabama. We are very grateful to the governor's office, Governor Ivey herself, who actually has played with Learning Blade and knows all about the ins and out of it. Certainly Nick Moore, that you're going to hear from her office, and well as Boeing, the Department of Commerce, the Department of Education, Dr. Mackey, and many others who have really worked to make this happen in the state. So we go to my first slide. You know, I think you guys have already talked a little bit about this, but the fact is that, you know, kids need exposure to STEM careers. That's just plain and simple. I think Keith said it very well. You know, the main reason kids don't pursue these careers is the fact they just simply don't know about them. And traditionally, most of our STEM education in this country has truly been focused on building math and science skills, which is all very important. But sometimes we leave out that last little bit of showing kids what actually careers they can do if they are good in science and math. And really, as you guys have mentioned, middle school is that critical age where kids are really making their career decisions. Not that they're picking their exact career, but the math classes, the science, the other things that they do after school are really sort of setting them in their pathway. So starting with an earlier process to get them on the right pathway prevents this pipeline from being so leaky. And a study recently showed that 42% of Americans said they would have considered STEM courses if they just better understood what the career path was. Again, validating that we need to do more of that career exposure. If we go to the next screen, so really in a nutshell, that's why we created Learning Blade, which was designed to be really a toolbox, to give a robust toolbox to our teachers. And specifically really in those middle grades where they're really critically deciding what they're doing. Our central point of the Learning Blade system is our online lessons. I think you've heard people talk about the interactive lessons. They're very fun, engaging to get kids exposed to the different STEM careers, and I'll talk a little bit more about those. But we also have some downloadable and offline activities too. In design thinking, making sure kids understand a 5-step process of solving problems, career videos to show kids what actually a STEM career does during the day, and even coding activities, highlighting some of code.org's materials to make sure teachers can effectively deliver those, as well as some hands-on projects and some 3D printing activities. A lot of 3D printing is happening in manufacturing, the great careers that Keith showed you, and making sure kids understand how to use those is critical. And then I'm going to talk a little bit more about our parent resources, specifically given the time that we're in right now. If we go to the next screen, students really need online materials right now. I think we have heard countless teachers in the last month or so that have just basically said, we didn't even know what to do when schools closed. Those teachers that had access to Learning Blade have really come forth to let us know that this has been a lifesaver for them, and teachers have even used those words to make sure that they could reach their students and be able to engage with them. A lot of the academic resources that have been provided for schools and teachers really throughout the country are only really keeping kids engaged about an hour or two during the day. So if you're a parent and you've got kids at home, you know what that's like. And so Learning Blade has been able to be an extension to that, to give them additional resources to actually engage their students. Now, I also want to be mindful of a lot of places that don't have internet access. And that is very, very prevalent in our country still. And so, for that regard, if we go to the next screen, we have our Learning Blade system, which actually offers some STEM for parents and project-based learning for parents that they can do at home. Now, these are very simple, easy activities that the teachers, the parents can do with their students. What's been great is that, I know there are a lot of places where they've been able to download these resources, make packets from them, and provide them to schools, to students when they're coming to pick up their meals, if they're on a lunch program and things like that. So that is allowing us to not only just get the students that have internet access at home, but even those that don't. So we want to make sure that we continue, obviously, to provide our country. That's a very important piece, but we also want to make sure that we are delivering a robust STEM experience for them as well. If we go to the next screen, you can see these are some of our mission challenges, which are also, again, I call them kitchen sink activities. They're pretty much types of activities that are a lot of things that you might have in your house already, paper clips and measuring tapes and things like that. So we're using things that you have at home to actually provide an engaging activity with parents with their students. But if I go back and go to the next screen, please. We talk about the need for making sure that kids really understand about these great STEM careers that are out there. But we've got to do it in a way that contextualizes the learning for students, but also aligns to your great Alabama academic standards, because we need to make sure we're moving students forward, not only in their interests, but in their skills. And so that is why we designed Learning Blade, really to be able to sort of meet both of those needs. If we go to the next screen, what we do is we actually have designed this to be somewhat supplemental, which I think is why, you know, as Tammy talked about it being available for out of school youth, in school youth, throughout some of the workforce agencies opportunities, you know, the great part is because we have designed this to be supplemental, it is very able to be delivered in such a way that it can be engaging in many different accessing our lessons. And what we tried to do was make it so that we would be able to motivate minorities, girls, rural and urban students in a really engaging way. Specifically for girls and really for millennials, I think pretty much it says nowadays, is that students want to know that they're going to have an impact on society. And I think, you know, whenever we're talking about careers, sometimes we don't take kids all the way to the finish line to show them how being impacts society in a positive way. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. We also don't want to just pigeonhole kids who are just interested in science to pursue STEM. We want to make sure we can gather kids who are interested in English, social studies, science, and math, and really empower them to think differently about their future career. And that's why we designed this so that it includes these different lessons, as I'll show you. If we go to the next screen, we designed it with this mission, as actually Jennifer showed you earlier. We actually have what we call missions, which are these 12 different sort of central storylines that we design Learning Blade around. This focus on a wide range of careers and technologies. We really do define STEM very broadly, just as you've talked about, in biomedical, construction, energy, agriculture, great advanced manufacturing careers, computer science, and of course, you know, just lots of different things that are really important in today's workplace. But you can see each of these has a storyline to it. So again, we're trying to engage kids, not just by saying, here, do a 2 + 2 math problem, but really instead do this math problem because you need the results of this to actually build a home for the students who were left homeless in an earthquake in Haiti, or a lightweight metal, aircraft metal that is really important as you're designing a plane. So really, you could see a wide range of careers that we offer here and we expose kids to. If we go to the next screen, this will show you how one of our missions work. And what we actually do is we look at students earning what we call tools and teammates. So tools are STEM technologies and teammates are STEM careers. The careers are really designed to, again, engage students, teach them about what these careers are. But then you can see we have an English, social studies, science, and math lesson for each of these careers and technologies. What's cool is each of these are about 10 minutes long for our Twitter generation. You know, they're not going to sit there for an hour on that. So we tried to make it engaging, but allowing them to earn points and other things while they're actually completing these lessons. If we go to the next screen, the kids will actually launch, well, okay, this is our flu outbreak mission. Okay, so we had 2 of those missions in there. This is quite appropriate today, given the COVID situation we're in. But this next screen shows you what one of our mission dashboards looks like. So again, it's got a gaming aspect to it where kids will pick their tool and teammate, they can earn points, they can see along the bottom how they're successful, and kids are able to be excited about learning. If we go to the next screen, as we mentioned earlier, we want to make sure we're introducing them to careers in an interactive way. So we offer multiple choice, drag and drop, fill in the blank, lots of different kinds of interactions that students can do to make sure that they are engaging with the content and learning about it as well. If we go to the next screen, and then as I mentioned earlier, we want to make sure we're also reviewing the important Alabama academic skills. This system has been aligned to all 50 state standards, and it is redone every single year to make sure we are current with the current standards that are in your state. If we go to the next screen, of course, computer science with Governor Ivey has very much been a focus, and really at the urging, quite frankly, of Governor Hutchinson of Arkansas, who is leading one of the leading governors as well with Governor Ivey in the computer science arena. We developed an Intro to Computer Science course that is available within Learning Blade to make sure that kids could understand computational thinking and really understand what those great careers are. We have some schools that really require that every student take this computer science course, and it helps students to really, to be honest, almost any career you get today, you need to have some computer science skills. Even if it is working a cashier, you know, those things are all electronic as well now. So it's important that our students get that opportunity. If we can go to the next screen. Well, this is great to tell you a little bit about what it is, but it's even better to tell you that we are having an impact. Many of you may know about Battelle. It's the largest nonprofit research institution in the country. It is where the Xerox machine was developed and golf ball technology and all of that great stuff, but also they run a lot of the national labs. And they really are focused on STEM because they employ a large number of STEM talent as well. So they have an educational effort, and we have partnered with them to provide a third-party validation of what we're doing. You know, I think everyone's talked very, very much about, you know, the impact that they're seeing, but we really believe we needed pre and post work testing to see if we were actually making a difference. And a lot of these data points you can see here are results of these studies. 71% learning about new careers, 55% saying they're more interested in a career in computer science, doubling the number of kids who say they want to be an engineer or scientist. And I do want to make sure, I didn't highlight as much earlier, but this isn't just about four-year degree engineers or doctors. We also really it's very important that we prepare students and help them understand those great careers that can be gotten by doing a certificate program, a credentialing program, going to one of your great Alabama Community College System institutions as well, because really those is very much in higher demand almost than even our four-year degrees. And a lot of times we aren't really exposing kids to those kind of careers at an early enough age. If we go to the next screen, just quickly to tell you, we have a lot of research. I won't bore you with a lot more of this, but you know, this is another PhD research study that actually studies kids who use Learning Blade and those that didn't. And we're able to, again, identify and validate some of the studies that we had done with Battelle as well. So if we go to the next screen, we can talk a little bit about what have been the initial program success. As you heard earlier, we started this year with some funding through the Boeing Company and through Department of Commerce, through the governor's office as well, and are looking to continue this for our next year. And we have been absolutely blown away by the interest and adoption that we have seen. We've already had within the state of Alabama 400 schools that have engaged, 400 schools and other sites that have engaged with Learning Blade. So that has been very exciting to see. And already students and individuals in Alabama have completed over 80,000 lessons. I mean, I think, you know, if we can think about the impact that this is going to have on the future pathways of students, it is remarkable. So, you know, just really grateful to the great educators, the great staffs at the workforce centers who have embraced this tool and have adopted it and are integrating it into what they're doing. You know, that certainly has not stopped since we've had the school closures. We, in fact, featured one of your teachers on a webinar last week where we talked to several teachers in several states that were talking about how Learning Blade was still letting them engage with their students. So really exciting to see this. And we've also had many of our downloads as well. So if we go to the next screen, you know, we're looking to continue this next year, and any site in the state, I think what's great, it doesn't have to be a school, just needs to be some kind of educational or workforce agency that wants to have a license. They can just go to learningblade.com/AL, that's your own site, and fill out a form. You will then receive your license from us, and you will receive communication that will let you know that we can provide training for you in any time that you want it. And we do continue communication through emails and phone calls to make sure we're engaging people. We also have a statewide challenge, partnership with FlashForge for 3D printers. Any institution that completes 5,000 lessons in a single sort of school year or annual year will receive a free 3D printer from us. And we've had several schools already that have been able to do that. Two, we have been providing regular updates to your senior leadership in the state. And we're very excited that this year we'll be partnering with AmSty on their Iron Bowl. If you're familiar with that, it's a competition that they have later on in the year around STEM. So we're just very grateful to Governor Ivey for her tremendous leadership and vision for what the workforce efforts can look like in the state of Alabama. We've been thrilled to work with Nick Moore and his team, as well as Department of Commerce, the community college, as well as the Department of Education, because really it takes a village, and this is just so exciting to see this many get on board with helping to help students and the citizens of Alabama. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sheila. That was a great update and explanation of the program. That's terrific. I think it's terrific that we've got the ability to use your program in this state. And being an engineer myself and having a wife that's an engineer, I think it's very important that we start at a very early age on these STEM subjects for our children. It is a great career to go into. So our final speaker today will be Nick Moore from the Governor's Office of Education and Workforce Transformation. Nick, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks to all the participants today. What I'd like to do is highlight the fact that this is one of a few opportunities where you really get to see braiding of funding in education and workforce funding along with private sector funds to produce a solution that is available to all Alabamians. And so when we talk about a P20W approach to education workforce training, sometimes that can be esoteric or just an idea out there. But when you see something like this in practice, to where we're taking funding from Perkins, WIOA, agencies from everything from our Commerce Department, our community college system, K-12, and the Boeing Corporation to put together a solution that individuals who are moving through their continuum of learning, when we're starting career exploration as young as 5th grade now, are going to be able to take an organic exploration of all 16 pathways and then allow that to move with them as they go from elementary into secondary education and then into post-secondary education. And so what Governor Ivey has said, and I certainly believe it to be true, is that it's hard for a young person to know what they want to be if they have not seen what there is to be. And so what Learning Blade really helps our young people do is make up for experiential deficit. And particularly in a time like now, where we're experiencing some unique circumstances due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the opportunity to have simulated workplace or a virtual delivery of career exploration is all the more important. And so as we move forward from today, just know that we stand ready to support you if you want to take advantage of a Learning Blade license, because we are here. Really, the point of today is to share with you that this is a tool that's available for you, particularly now and even certainly as we move forward. And really, there's unlimited amount of opportunities to take advantage of this solution. It's only going to continue to grow because more functions are going to continue to be added to it. So please, if you have not had an opportunity to explore it, if you have a student that's at home today, if you know of a student that's at home today, if you know of a person that maybe is not quite sure what they want to do moving forward, maybe they've been dislocated from employment, or they're just at a crossroads in their life, tell them to check out Learning Blade and to look at some of these modules. And I think that they're going to find something that helps them make the next decision in their life. So on behalf of Governor Ivey, I just want to thank first Mr. Chairman McCartney his leadership and putting together this webinar, and it's an exceptional opportunity to share this solution. So thank you, sir, for your leadership. To Ms. Boyington and to Mr. Boyington for your partnership with the state. Ms. Wilkinson at Commerce, who has been our fiscal agent and thought partner, and certainly Mr. Phillips and Chancellor Baker in the community college system, and Dr. Mackey and Ms. Burt and company at our State Department of Education have been critical partners, and we're going to continue to add partners and to bolster this what I think consider as a primary example of braiding funding and partnership on behalf of our students. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for this opportunity.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And I want to second Nick's thoughts on the speaker. Thanks to all of the participants today. Very enjoyable. I think we've got some questions and questions for you, the speakers to answer. And Chris, can you lead us through that?
I sure can. The first question is going to be, what is the target grade for Learning Blade? Could younger students benefit as well?
So I guess I will take that question. So within the system, it is aligned 5th through 9th grade standards, but we do have some 4th graders that use it. It's really maybe a little advanced for K-2, but we are this fall adding some lessons in for K-2 and 3-5. So by the fall, you will have those lessons available for some of the younger students as well.
All right, great. The next question is, and you answered this earlier, but remind them again, how do they register for an account and what do they need to get an account?
Yes. So they go to learningblade.com/AL. Now, we really don't normally sign up individuals. We normally like it to be either the school or an agency or something like that, if they can use that type of email and let us know where it's going to be used. Because one of the reasons is because we do want it's nice if they do have an educator or someone who is helping them navigate that. And are able to track them. So they can go to learningblade.com/AL and fill out the site form. It's very short. I've actually seen that we've already had a couple come in since we've been online on this webinar as well. If you are questioning, like, can you call for a site or whatever, please feel free to email us at info@learningblade.com, and we'll be happy to talk with you about what would be the best process to getting you set up.
And just a reminder, we will also have a link to the Learning Blade site on the alabamaworks.com website. All this information will be there as well if you want to check out after the webinar. The next question is, and this is for K-12, how does Learning Blade align with the Alabama State Department of Education standards that they're required to teach?
Yes. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to answer that quickly and you can take it from there. But so actually we are aligned to ELA, math standards, technology, and all of the current Alabama standards, and they're loaded into our system, and you can actually pull a report. Each school can pull a report on how their students are performing. I mean, obviously I didn't get to do a demo for you of the live system today, but we have a very robust management system, and it allows teachers to see the actual standard, the actual Alabama standard that that the students are exposed to and how they're performing on each of those standards.
All right, the next question is, does my school request an account, or can I request an individual screen for myself as a teacher?
If you're a teacher at a school, then you can request an account. You do not have, it just has to be an employee of the school. It doesn't have to be the principal or any specific teacher. Any teacher can request an account at their school. And even if we have multiple teachers from one school that request an account, what we do is we know all the schools, so we group them together and make sure that they're part of the same license.
Okay, the next question is for Jennifer Burt. With the new Perkins information, could schools use Perkins money to pay for their field trips to WOW events? This is something outside of this, but again, it's career exploration.
Absolutely. And they can work with their career tech directors to make sure that that shows up in their EGAP budgets.
Okay, great. We've got two last questions. How will Learning Blade help me address the needs of my ELL students?
So we offer, that's a great question. Thank you for that. We offer a full soundtrack and it follows along what's on the screen. We didn't get to mention this earlier, but some people in the state might be familiar with WorkKeys and the Career Readiness Certificate. And our company was also the creators of KeyTrain and Career Ready 101 that was very prevalent in Alabama. And many studies were done on the fact that having a full soundtrack actually helps students learn English better. So it's really exciting because we actually have seen that same kind of data transfer over to Learning Blade, and many students are able to use the soundtrack. A lot of times we suggest, headphones or whatever, but they're able to use that soundtrack to reinforce their learning of the English language.
Fantastic. One last question, and it is a request. Can you bring this to West Alabama?
Bring what?
Learning Blade. Can you bring the system to West Alabama?
It's totally free. All you got to do to learningblade.com/AL. It's already in West Alabama. We have some schools already there, but anyone from that area is welcome to sign up for a site. And we are happy to provide any training. So obviously right now it's webinar, 100% webinar training, but before this we had trained, I think, I don't remember how many teachers we had in-person trained. We'll be happy to do that again when these stay-at-home orders are lifted. But even in the meantime, we can offer any on-demand training. So all you have to do is send an email to info@learningblade.com and we will provide training for any amount of people that want to receive training. It's a pretty intuitive system. I think people talked about that already, but if you do want a sort of short tutorial on how to use the system, we'll provide that at no additional charge.
All right, that's it for questions. Mr. McCartney?
Yes, sir. Well, I want to thank everyone once again for participating, all the partners here. I think this is a great opportunity for our students across the state to get exposed to the STEM possibilities for their careers. And I encourage everyone to use this program. Sounds like a terrific product. And Sheila, thank you so much for joining us today. And great. It is a good time while we're all sheltered in place to learn about this. We're learning a lot about the online tools that are available for us and to us. So that's if you're going to look at the sunny side of being sheltered, that's one of the things. A couple of things I wanted to bring up before we close for the day. We're going to sponsor our weekly webinar next Tuesday at 4 o'clock. We've been doing, this will be our 5th week, I believe, but we have 2 special guests with us next week that will be on. Chief of Staff of Governor Kay Ivey, former Congressman Joe Bonner is going to be here to talk about what the governor's doing in response to the COVID virus. And also Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth will be joining us. So I hope all of y'all listening in will tune in on next Tuesday at 4. And please, if you would, ask some questions, submit some questions to us so we can have them available. Chris has done a great job on posing those questions. We'd like to have a few for both of them. I know Lieutenant Governor Ainsworth's got a task force he's been working on how to get the Alabama economy back going once we do get a chance to get back out there. And he's going to talk to us a little bit about that. But have some questions for him, and send the questions into awc-chair@alabamaworks.com. That's awc-chair@alabamaworks.com. And then finally, I want to remind you there on the Alabama Works website, there's a survey link, an industry survey link we'd like to get more responses from. We need at least 1,000 responses to get a decent population, statistical population, so we can a lot of the agencies are working on information from that to determine what's the best tactic to take to help the businesses that are suffering from this COVID-19 virus. So it's on there. It takes 5 minutes. I've done the survey myself. It's very simple, but it's very important that we get that information to the folks that are making these decisions when we do go back to work full swing. So without anything else today on the agenda, we appreciate you tuning in, and send those questions in for next week. Until we meet again, thank you.